topic. It's a big, scary topic for me. Is your family still Trump supporters? Yeah, I don't really even fully believe in the term vegan. I don't really feel a pull that my purpose here is to be a parent. Yeah. Does that answer your question? I think it does. Hi, I'm going to be doing something today that I used to do on my channel super regularly, and then I think I started taking my job a little too seriously and I stopped doing them, and it's a regular old Q&A. We've had a lot more people join the channel since the last time I did anything like this, and so I opened over on Instagram, told people to ask me anything you want. That means from personal questions to sustainability questions, and I decided I'm going to answer a few of the things that I normally would avoid. If you're watching this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It super helps me. And if you're new here, if you clicked on this video because you wanted to hear my tea on some of these topics, well, you should probably hit the subscribe button because I think you're gonna like it here. If I'm being so honest with you, a lot of these are boiling hot tea. So let's start off with something that feels a little bit more approachable and less high stakes. How do you overcome the guilt of occasionally using a single-use item? I don't. So if you are new here and you just hit the subscribe button a moment ago, you might not know that I used to focus a lot of my energy and my time and my money, honestly, a lot of my resources, I guess you would say, on reducing the amount of waste I produce, specifically in the plastic category. I used to make a lot of efforts in living a zero waste life. That is impossible in our current system. And so I never truly lived a zero waste life, but I did talk a lot about how I was trying to reduce my waste. I spent a lot of my energy doing that. I think that mentality died with the pandemic in 2020. I have not felt guilt around things that I am doing since then. That obviously completely changed our world, our ability to do anything sustainable, really. It really changed what sustainable landscape looked like for years. And I didn't just one day when I decided the pandemic was over, go back to fully putting all of my efforts into those things. Anyway, all that to say, I don't feel guilt around using plastic, I guess. I really don't think I use anything single use on any sort of regular basis. And if there comes a moment where I am given something or I have to, I don't even think guilt crosses my consciousness. I think more so these days, guilt crosses my consciousness when I feel like I'm supporting a giant multinational conglomerate that is doing way more harm to this planet than I ever could. And I think that's kind of it. Actually, guilt does nothing to help the planet. Guilt does nothing to help people. Guilt doesn't help you be more sustainable or reduce your waste. Guilt is not a productive emotion to have. Obviously, it's just an emotional response, so you can't just turn that off in your brain. But I would make a conscious effort to stop feeling that way because it's not productive. And instead of ever feeling guilt over really anything, because so much of sustainable living is out of my immediate control, I focus my energy on other things. I focus my energy, my time, my money, resources on giving back to my community, on making other parts of my life more sustainable, by biking more, by making sure I'm not buying a bunch of stuff I don't need. I really try to focus on consuming less overall than I ever worry about a single-use coffee cup coming into my life. Okay, now that you've been warmed up, here it goes. What changed your minds about adopting? Curious because we are also dinks, which means dual income, no kids. It's a big topic. It's a big, scary topic for me. So again, if you're new here and you hit the subscribe button already, you might not know that my partner and I, we years ago decided we wanted to adopt. We thought we wanted to have children, and our method we had chosen was adoption. I think adoption is amazing. I think fostering is amazing. My sister is in that process right now. I also used to have my own feelings about kids and their environmental impact. Oh, someone is waking up, of course, just as we're starting to record. I already have a kid, see? No need for another one. He cries a lot. Yeah, I used to have feelings about the environmental impact around kids. I wouldn't say that that really influenced our ultimate decision at all. And I wouldn't say that I advocate that it impacts your decision at all either. I think that's such an intimate, personal decision. And you have to weigh what works with your lifestyle, your beliefs, all those kind of things. So it wasn't that. And we also bought this house with the intention of having kids. We bought this house because we thought we were going to have children. And now we decided we're not. It's a 95% sure. We're not. So we bought this house with that intention. When we moved into this house, we thought we were gonna start the process immediately. And then we were like, who gonna help us with these kids? Realistically, my family lives at least 2.5 hours from me. And I didn't have friends who felt like they could be a support system for something like that. And so I decided, well, we have to build community for so many reasons. One being, it takes a village. I think that is very, very true. And I would just say that like along that process, Madison and I think felt like we were getting so much more purpose and joy and fulfillment. And like, I feel like my purpose here is so many things. I don't really feel a pull that my purpose here is to be a parent. I think that like I fit the auntie role perfectly. Like I would love to be able to teach kids things and take care of them and be the cool person in their life that they can come to when they need something. I fully see myself in that role, and I just don't see myself being a full-time parent. I really just don't. And honestly, it's that simple. But I still am really happy that my friends and my neighbors are starting their families and that I can be here as a resource for them when they need someone to watch their kid because they have to go to work, because I work from home. And I'm happy to be that person that fits into my family, friends, community dynamic without having them on my own. Speaking of, there were a few questions that mentioned Madison. Well, someone said any you and Maddie vlogs, and I was like, who is Maddie? Madison does not go by Maddie, so that threw me off for a second. But any vlogs, loving the videos with Madison coming up. And we used to have a vlog channel, if you didn't know, where we would vlog our lives. At that point in our lives were very just me and her, and there was no other people to consent or worry about being in the background of my stuff. But obviously that's not our choice anymore, and I think I've said it a few times, but Madison will appear here and there in like things that I'm doing because she lives in this house with me. But Madison has made the decision to kind of take her life more offline, and so vlogs won't be coming back, I'm pretty sure. And something also that asked specifically about Madison and I, that's a little bit, we can chill out, right? That was a very serious question. Let's take a chill question. We've warmed up. We're gonna chill for a second. Do y'all have any fun trips planned? We don't really have any trips planned, and there's two reasons for that. Number one is right here. If you didn't already know, Tippy had a really big health scare at the end of last year. He ended up, one of his legs wasn't working. We went to multiple specialist vets. Turns out they think he has an enlarged atrium, and they think he threw a clot, and that caused his back leg to be paralyzed. And ever since then, every time I leave the house, I'm filled with dread. I cannot think about leaving this house for extended periods of time, overnight, I would say, without feeling existential dread. I can't deal with it. I don't really want to leave him. He is almost 13 years old, and I've had him his entire life, and I don't like to be away from him. So that's number one reason. And number two reason is when we moved back here, we made, again, the conscious decision that we didn't want to travel as much. We just really felt like we couldn't maintain relationships with us traveling so much. And I understand that most people don't travel as much as we were when we were trying to get that phase kind of out of us. People really go on trips like once, maybe twice a year. And I would like to get back to like that kind of frequency where like we do one family trip a year and that's that. But right now we don't have any planned for those reasons. Oh my God, speaking of a family trip, okay, we cooled down, we're heating back up. I'm just gonna address this because I think what's happening in the United States right now is beyond what words can describe. The atrocities being committed against people right now it takes a toll on me, like a lot. And so let's just talk about this. Is your family still Trump supporters? Yes. Two things. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how awful the things he says and does, the atrocities committed against innocent people that are happening. The people who believe his message, who follow him. Unfortunately, yes, there are members of my family who are still Trump supporters. I will say I'm no longer closer to anybody who is a Trump supporter. Not just because of that, because of their overall values, principles, and morals, right? Which those things are so interconnected. Yeah, the closest people to me and my family that you have ever seen regularly on any of my socials, my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law. That's it. That's actually my close circle of family that I have not distanced myself from. Those people are not Trump supporters. So, yeah. Likewise, there were a few questions that asked specifically, how are you coping with the stress of what's happening in the political world at the moment? I don't cope very well, but I am in therapy. Like, that's part of my regular practice. I really try to focus and funnel my intentions, my mental energy, all those things, into things I can control. And my neighborhood group, being the president of my neighborhood, has really taken my focus, and that's where my attention goes. I try not to focus on things I cannot control and focus on protecting the people I have the ability to help and control. Yeah? Anything else? Fuck ICE? Yes. Yeah, I have friends and community from all walks of life who have been impacted by, I can't even tell you how many different things that man has done, him and his team, admin, has done that has impacted my life, my friends' lives, my neighbors' lives. Coping with it is just focusing my attention on things I can control and things I can do. And that's easier said than done, but that's the only thing that like I can tell you that I've been doing that has been working for me. Okay, let's go back to something a little more chill, right? Let's talk about sewing. It's become my greatest passion. This one says, how's the sewing your own clothes journey going? I think it's going incredible. I mean, I'll talk about this more. If you know me, you know that I like to be well versed in something before I speak on it, and sewing is not that serious, but sewing is one of those things for me. So I plan to do like a full year of sewing. I'm halfway through it now, and then after that I will do a full review on like what I learned, but I'll give you a little synopsis now. There are a few reasons I wanted to start sewing. Number one, I started thinking about if an apocalypse happened. What skills do I have that would be useful? Another reason is that adults in my life, I have watched model what it's like to not get a hold on your anxiety. And I've been working for years to get a hold on mine. It's definitely better, but it's not perfect. And so I really like sewing was something that was like a skill that I was so scared to start. I was so intimidated thinking that everything had to be perfect and the machine was terrifying. And yeah, just like an endless amount of reasons why I was scared to do it. But because I want to face my fears and make sure I don't end up like the adults in my life who cry literally at the thought of trying something new because they let their anxiety go so far. Like, I don't want to be that. So that was the second reason I started. The third was because I went to get something hemmed last year and the cost was something I could not justify doing on a regular basis, so I wanted to be able to do it for myself. And three, I'm a plus size person who cares about sustainability. Making my own clothes and learning to upcycle is just like something that like I feel like I should have done a long time ago. So it's going great. I have completed so many projects. I actually posted a video about it not that long ago. If you want to see, I'll link it up here, where I sewed a few different things, small projects and a massive project. And I plan to continue giving you guys updates kind of like that throughout the rest of the year. And then I think maybe next year it will take over a large part of what I talk about on this channel, because I've never had a hobby that I felt so compelled to do that I was doing it instead of my responsibilities or doing it instead of sleeping. Like, I'm so in love with sewing that I would rather do it than almost anything else right now. And I haven't felt that way about anything since the very beginning of my YouTube channel. I felt that way about YouTube like 8 years ago. Yeah, I'll probably talk about it a lot more. I'm an imperfect vegan. I wear SH leather. Oh, secondhand leather. Why do you feel you can't label yourself vegan? Love you too. I don't like labels. From my sexuality to my diet or my lifestyle. I don't like things that make me feel like I have to do something perfect. And so I just, yeah, it's mainly that. I also am not, like, I'm not a perfect vegan in any sense. Like, I make exceptions here and there. And I don't really even fully believe in the term vegan because of different sort of indigenous practices and the way that, like, the way the term veganism is established is in our very whitewashed colonial food system. And like, I think that's a whole other, like, there's just so many reasons that I don't like the word vegan. I don't like to identify that way. I don't like for people to put it on me. When I got my chickens, that was a whole issue. I don't like it. There's like a million reasons. And honestly, you don't have to agree with them. I respect everybody's feelings on, well, okay, if you don't understand that eating red meat has like a massive environmental impact and you call yourself an environmentalist, but you don't even try to reduce your meat intake. But like, if you identify with the word vegan or you identify with labels and that helps you with your journey of, like, you know, self-discovery or whatever it is, that's fine. It's just, it's not for me. I don't like that kind of stuff. And so I don't identify as vegan. I do eat a plant-based diet. Let's leave it there. Thoughts on sustainable companies now adopting AI? Well, I didn't really know that was happening, to be honest. I'm not that tuned in to what sustainable companies are and aren't doing, but the AI conversation, it should be treated with so much nuance, but I feel that online it's not treated like that at all. People are environmentalists, fair enough. Like, it has a massive environmental footprint. I 100% understand bringing that into consciousness, 100% understand bringing up those concerns and trying to make it better, etc. Do I think it makes any sense under the unfortunate economic system we live under to act as if we can boycott AI out of existence? Like that is not where we're gonna get, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Okay. Do I wish that like we could go back to a simpler time where things were sustainable, like where we could build societies that were sustainable? I do. And I hope that one day, like, there is some sort of moment where humanity realizes that the trajectory we're on in very literal terms is not sustainable. Like, yes, I don't agree with our economic system. I don't like the way things are headed environmentally. I obviously, like, I have a laundry list of issues with the current system, but the current system maximizes profits and AI helps them do that. Okay. So do I think it makes sense to be like, no one should ever use AI and like, that's a winning argument? It's just not going to be. And I try to look at the way AI is headed as like so many different technologies were really inefficient and really demanding on resources when they first were like created. From what I understand, there are companies who are creating AIs that are not as energy intensive, that are not as water intensive. And I think it makes more sense as environmentalists for us to like align ourselves with people who are doing it right. Unless we think that in the next 5 years, we're going to overthrow our current economic system. Maybe you do believe that. That's not where I'm at. I do have quite radical political beliefs, but I don't think that is where we're headed. Like, I don't think we're overthrowing the world's most powerful economic system in the next few years. So yeah, does that answer your question? I think it does. Well, hopefully if you're new here, you learned a few new things about me and that they make you want to stick around. On this channel, I talk a lot about being an anti-consumerist, living a sustainable life, building community as a means to solve both of those problems. My little like hope and tagline for the world is I want more people to give up consumerism for creativity and community. So if that sounds like something you would like, if you like some of the things I said, if you have opinions on some of the things I said, I want to know in the comments. But remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.